So you think there is a soul that survives death?
Well, there is something that, again, like I said, I did feel a connection, and that wasn't, it wasn't a bodily connection, it was a connection through consciousness and mind. And if that's going to outlast me or not, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Grab a seat because this one is a proper heavyweight clash of ideas. Today we're sitting down with a conversation between Richard and Ayaan, and the tension is unreal. One of them argues that faith can give you comfort, meaning even a sense of something beyond death, while the other keeps pulling the whole thing back to one ruthless question. Sure, it's comforting, but is it actually true? What starts as a friendly disagreement slowly turns into a real test of whether belief can survive when you stop asking how it feels and start asking whether it's real. Trust me, you'll want to stick around right to the finish, because the back half is where things really tighten up and nobody walks away unchallenged. And while you're here, drop a comment and let me know what part of the world you're watching from. I genuinely love seeing how far this channel reaches. Alright, enough from me, let's get into it.
Suppose it were true that atheism doesn't offer anything. Suppose it doesn't offer anything. So what? Why should it offer anything? Why should the universe offer you anything?
But what is the scientific explanation for you being moved to tears by Sir Matthew's passion?
Well, it's neurology. Let me ask Ayaan.
I think the question you ask now is very interesting. Why should atheism offer you anything? There is no reason why atheism should offer anything, but something else. Faith offers something valuable and tangible and great.
Yes,
so why should atheism mock that and knock it down?
No,
is
I
it
don't
not
want to mock
possible
it.
to have this coexistence where there is a place for reason and there is a place for faith and for subjectivity? Just like we agree to have a separation between religion and politics, I think it is absolutely possible to have, and Christianity allows for that, a separation of science and the material world, the temporal world, versus the world of faith. And these things, when they complement each other, I think lead to a much more powerful outcome than when you, again, I find the differences between us a little cosmetic and a little artificial, because there are so many things I agree with that you are saying. It's just that the attitude that atheists take, that if you do not see the world the way they see it, and if you don't live according to reason, you must be an idiot. You must be unintelligent. You must be stupid.
No.
I think that is a bit that just smacks of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, let's not go there. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
What I do want to say is this: faith offers you something. Obviously, that's very clear, but it doesn't make it true. It doesn't make the existence claims of Christianity true. There is a difference from saying that being in a certain psychological place is consoling and comforting and offers you a meaning of life and gives you a purpose in life. All those things which are wonderful, and I have them too. They're a bit different, but I too have a purpose in life. I have a meaning in life. But just simply because something gives you a meaning and a purpose in life, it doesn't make the existential claims true. And Christianity, like any other religion, makes claims about the world, about the universe, which are either true or not true. And I may be wrong and you may be right. They may be true, but the mere fact that they're comforting doesn't make them true.
Okay, this is the exact move I knew Ayaan was going to make, and it tells you everything about how the faith side argues when they get cornered. Ayaan said this: there is no reason why atheism should offer anything, but faith offers something valuable and tangible. And honestly, that word tangible is doing so much heavy lifting. Comfort is real, sure, but comfort is not the same thing as truth, and Richard catches it instantly. Then watch the pivot. Ayaan said this: the attitude that atheists take is that if you don't see the world the way they see it, you must be unintelligent, you must be stupid. And this is the oldest trick there is. Paint the other side as arrogant so you never have to actually answer the question. Nobody here called anyone stupid. What Richard is doing is asking one simple thing: is it true? And here's the part that blows my mind. Richard said this: faith offers you something, but it doesn't make it true. It doesn't make the existence claims of Christianity true. That is the whole debate in a single sentence. You can love a belief, it can carry you through your worst nights, and it can still be completely false. Those two things live in totally different rooms. Then he drives it home. Richard said this: the mere fact that they're comforting doesn't make them true. And you can feel the air leave the room because there's no comeback to it. A warm feeling is not evidence. You have to understand, this is the entire gap between wanting something to be true and actually showing that it is.
That's an important point.
But I agree with you on that point. The mere fact that they are comforting doesn't make them true, but the hypothesis that there's something rather than nothing is something you can't disprove as much as I can't prove materially that
Yes.
Jesus was born out of a virgin. So
Yes.
I think it's some of these areas where I think it's a very, very important debate that occurred about 200
I
years
agree.
ago.
We can have that debate, and
Yeah.
that's an important debate, and that's the one I would like to have, rather than the one that's comforting. I mean, for example, I would like to know whether you think that we survive our bodily death when our brain dies. When I asked you that when we had dinner together, and you said no, have you changed your mind about that?
I'm sorry, please repeat. What have I changed my mind
Okay,
about?
about life after death, about
Do
surviving.
we survive our bodily
I
existence?
said, do you think we survive our own death? And you said no.
I said yes. Bodily, no. I do not. I don't survive death. I don't
No.
think you will survive death. I said that when Bertrand Russell said, "When we die, we shall rot,"
Yes.
That is true. But then, what happens to the soul, consciousness, etc.? That again, I don't know.
So you
can't-
think there is a soul that survives death?
Well, there is something that, again, like I said, I did feel a connection, and that it wasn't a bodily connection, it was a connection through consciousness and mind. And if that's going to outlast me or not, I don't know. I don't know about that.
And here's where it gets good, because Ayaan actually concedes. Ayaan said this: I agree with you on that point. The mere fact that they are comforting doesn't make them true. That's a massive admission, and I think a lot of people watching missed how big it was. The second you grant that, you've basically handed Richard the whole argument. But then comes the fallback that shows up every time. Ayaan said this: the hypothesis that there's something other than nothing is something you can't disprove as much as I can't prove. And I need you to catch the move here, because a little history makes it obvious. Bertrand Russell made this exact point famous decades ago with his celestial teapot. If I claim a tiny teapot is orbiting the sun, the burden is on me to prove it, not on you to disprove it. You can't disprove infinite things. That's not a point in your favor. That's just how unfalsifiable claims work. Then Richard plants his flag. Richard said this: I won't survive death. I don't think you will survive death. And he reaches back to Russell. When we die, we shall rot. Clean, honest, zero hedging. And then Ayaan said this: there is something that I did feel a connection to. That's going to outlast me or not. I don't know. I don't know about that. And that is the whole thing collapsing in real time. The instant she's asked to put something concrete behind the soul, it dissolves into a feeling and an I don't know. A feeling is not a soul. This is the part people don't realize.
But Richard, I do know where you stand on this debate, and
So-
that is.
We could spend the next
Okay,
half hour
okay.
going through
Yes.
different theological points and seeing whether Ayaan agrees with them or not. But there is this bigger cultural, societal impact point that
Yes.
you've really been in the middle of, Richard. You came out as a cultural Christian, or at
Well, I
least
didn't. I mean, I've been a cultural Christian all along, and I've never said anything else.
there was a lot of social media excitement recently that you had decided, or you had confirmed that you were a cultural Christian. This is, I suppose, the political Christianity point that Ayaan has also been making. If you accept that there is utility to faith at an individual level and at a societal level, how do you feel about what you have done and your fellow new atheists for the past few decades in so enthusiastically dismantling it?
I am so much more wedded to the importance of truth that I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I do think that if, for example, in Africa, there are missionaries, Christian missionaries and Muslim missionaries fighting for people's loyalty, and I'm on Team Christianity where that's concerned. And so politically, if you have to have a religion,
Will you explain that to us a little bit more?
If you have to, I don't believe you have to have a religion. I think it's patronizing to suggest that people do need a religion. But if they do need a religion, then I'd rather it was Christianity than anything else.
And this right here is why Richard comes out on top even when people try to corner him. He gets hit with the guilt question, basically, don't you feel bad for tearing down something useful? And his answer is the cleanest thing in the entire clip. Richard said this, I am so much more wedded to the importance of truth that I don't regret anything. You have to understand how rare that is. He's being handed an easy exit. Just admit the comfort was worth the story, and he flat out refuses. Truth over comfort every single time. And here's what people miss about that position. It is not cold. Caring about what's true is one of the most respectful things you can do for another adult. Treating grown people like they're too fragile to handle reality, that's the actual insult. Which is exactly why his next line lands so hard. Richard said this, I don't believe you have to have a religion. I think it's patronizing to suggest that people do need a religion. Yes, that's the whole thing. The faith side keeps framing belief as medicine people can't live without. And Richard just flips it. Assuming adults need a comforting story to function is the real condescension. Now he does give 1 inch at the end. Richard said this, but if they do need a religion, I'd rather it was Christianity than anything else. And I actually respect that he's honest about a cultural preference instead of pretending he has none. But notice, that's a practical point about culture. It is not him saying any of it is true. He never once budges on the truth question, and that's the line he refused to cross the entire time. Here's the bigger picture. The new atheist conversation that took off in the mid-2000s was never really about being mean to believers. It was about insisting that big claims need big evidence. This clip is a perfect snapshot of it. One person stands on what can be shown. The other stands on what feels meaningful. Both can be sincere. Only one of them is making an argument about reality. And that is why this whole exchange matters. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.